Hello, Algebra 2 students. This is Ms. Prater. This is a help video for the 9.01 stats project. On your attached assignment, it says collect a set of data from the internet about any school appropriate topic. Examples, you could search rainfall data, testing scores, how many points NBA basketball players average per game, anything that interests you. You could also make up your own data. So you just need 20 numbers. I would just suggest if you make them up that you kind of think about what they might be. So you could think about 20 test scores or 20, how many donuts you eat a week. So you could do, I might eat 5 this week. I might eat 2 next week. I might eat 0 the next week. I would suggest that when you're looking on the internet or when you're making up your 20 numbers that you think simple, because you're going to have to add these numbers, find the average of the numbers. So I probably wouldn't use numbers that are decimals. You can, but that's just going to make the project harder. And it's not asking you to make a difficult project. It's just asking you to pick 20 values. Okay. It says the data set must contain at least 20. So you could pick more than 20, but if you pick more than 20, it's just going to be more work. So I'd pick exactly 20. So you get full credit. And then I wouldn't pick any more than 20 unless you just want to, because that's going to make you have more work. Fill out the questions below regarding your data. Okay. So I searched on the internet and I typed my numbers a little bit bigger here. But if I blow this up, let's see. This is the name of the animal. So I found this on the internet, and this is their lifespan. So this says antelope, and it lives for 15 years. This is a different type of antelope. It says pronghorn. It lives for 15 years. A badger lives for 15 years. A bat lives for 15 years. A bear, a grizzly bear, lives for 34 years. A beaver lives for 20 years. A buffalo lives for 45. Or so on. So I just looked that up. Okay, I'm going to minimize this so we can see the whole screen. And number 1 says you must take the 20 data values that you either found from the internet or you made up, and you must put them in numerical order. So that means smallest to largest. You could also put them largest to smallest. I like to go smallest to largest. So I took those 20 numbers and I listed them out. So you can't just copy and paste from the internet, okay, unless those numbers are already in numerical order. You would have to type them out, okay? Make sure you have 20 of them. That's what number 1's asking you to do. Number 2 says explain your data. What does each data point represent? Well, for my data, it represents the lifespan in years of different animals. So you would state what your data stood for. If it was the number of donuts that you eat in a week, you would say my data represents the number of donuts I'll eat in a week. Number 3 is asking you for the mean. So remember that mean is the same as average. So the word mean, M-E-A-N, is the same thing as average. And when we find the average, we have to add up. So we have to find the sum. So we have to add and divide by how many numbers we have. So I have 20 numbers. So I just went back and I took my calculator. I added all 20 of these numbers up. I divided by 20, and that gave me 29.45. And I think for the rest of my data, I'm going to round to 29.5. And then that's what I'm going to use for my mean, because you're going to use your mean in section 9.02, the 9.02 project, the 9.03 project, and the 9.04 project. So you're going to use your mean again. Number 4 is asking us for the minimum. That'd be our smallest number in our set of data and our maximum. So if we go back and look at my 20 numbers, remember your 20 numbers are going to be different, but 10 would be my minimum and 70 would be my maximum. So you're going to list that for number 4. Your minimum is 10 and your maximum is 70. So that's 9.01. It's 25 points. We'll go back over it again. You're going to select 20 numbers. Either you're going to get those from the internet or you're going to make them up yourself. Remember to make them, if you make them up or if you look them up, don't get a bunch of decimals. Don't get 1023.2. You want to try to go simple here. That's just going to make your work easier. For number 1, you do have to list those numbers in numerical order. So that means smallest to largest. For number 2, you have to explain what your data is, what it represents. And I wrote my data represents the lifespan in years of different animals. You would write whatever your data is. You would explain that. Number 3 is asking us to find the mean, which means average. So we're going to add up our 20 numbers and we're going to divide by 20 and we're going to write our mean here. And you're going to need to use that mean again in your 9.02, your 9.03, and your 9.04 project. And then number 4 is asking us for minimum and maximum. So my minimum data is 10 years and my maximum data is 70 years. That's 9.01.